Batmobile. Let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Punk and Paisley. This is your host Chris, doing a little bit of a vaguely Halloween themed episode here for the channel. We're going to look at my Batman records. Now for me, there's basically really only one Batman. That would be Adam West and his sidekick Burt Ward. For me, the Batman TV show is one of the greatest cultural products of Western civilization. I'm willing to die on that hill. I just find it to be completely wonderful. I think that the high camp strikes exactly the right tone. The fact that you've got this TV show that comes in the mid-1960s, just when a lot of people are getting a color TV, and makes full use of the color TV medium in just such a wonderful way. When I was in the States, the last year that I was living in the US, I overheard, think at a bar, this younger guy who was in his 20s, who was talking at his friends about how he loves every iteration of Batman except for the 1960s TV show, which he found to be some form of atrocity, and just didn't get the whole darkness of Batman and how serious it all is. And I actually said something. I did the old man thing, and I was just like, no, look here, Sonny. He's a multi-millionaire who fights crime in tights with his briefs on the outside, and nobody can notice that he or Robin are covering their eyes and using their same voices, and that's enough to throw people off the trail completely. I mean, how else would you handle this material? I believe that the high camp that they approached it with, the fact that they were doing a comic book on color TV, is the right approach. I think that's the right level of dignity for the material. It's just so wonderful, and you get all of these incredible Hollywood legends. You get Julie Newmar sewn into a Catwoman suit. You've got Eartha Kitt saying "perfect," and you've got Milton Berle and Frank Gorshin, and you've got Cesar Romero not bothering to shave off his mustache and just putting the clown makeup over it. It's so wonderful. Everything about that show is so wonderful. It's high camp. I'm not sure that a network would approve it today. You have to do the gunmetal gray and dark blues, dead serious, deadpan Batman, and just sort of this fascist Batman is the way that we've gone for a long time now. No, that's not the way of it. That's not it. I want pink and purple. I want the most ridiculous comic book take absolutely possible, and that's what the 60s Batman show gave you, and it was enhanced in no small part by the music. Now, when I said I was going to make this video, my wife asked me, how many Batman records do you own? And of course my answer was along the lines of not enough, but I actually didn't know. I wasn't sure. I knew I owned a few Batman records, and it turns out that I own several, or at least several that are Batman related. I thought I'd go through them with you here in the video today. And we're going to start with one of the crowd. To me, this is one, even though it's not one of the most expensive records I own, the condition that this is in as close to mint condition on the inside and outside as you're going to find any record ever from this era. Looking at this sparks joy, as they say to me, and this is the exclusive original television soundtrack album of your Neil Hefti composed Batman music, conducted by Nelson Riddle, and it's got actual voices, the real voices, which they have to put, as we will see, you have to make it very clear with these records that it's original soundtrack, original music, original voices, because so much was being put out as cash-ins that were not. This record is on 20th Century Fox records. I happen to have a mono copy. There are stereo copies as well. It's just everything about the package is fantastic. You get dialogue, you get music, you get a little longer form version of the original Batman theme than you would otherwise get. And it's just, I mean, it is just fantastic music. It is fun. You've got the combination of swinging, spy jazz, and the surf influence. You know that the instructions were given to Hefty and to the other people doing these albums that you got to bring in the guitars for the kids, and you got to bring in that surf guitar and some fuzz, or else the kids aren't going to go for it. And that combination is just magical. So absolutely wonderful album, dialogue and original music, original soundtrack from the TV show. Just one of the absolute gems, I think, of my record collection, especially in this condition. And yeah, so that's where we would kick things off. Now, who was Neil Hefti? Neil Hefti was mainly a jazz guy. It turns out I own a few. I own 2 or 3 Neil Hefti albums. This is a 1955 singing instrumentals where he covered a lot of the large hit big band tunes. I was trying to avoid saying big band tunes. Some of the really popular big band tunes he did with the Ray Charles Choir. I find Hefty's work to be a lot of fun. He composed a great many TV themes, including The Odd Couple, including Batman, and this you will find this very cheaply. This album, where it's the fun side of jazz. It's this lighter side. It's not again the dead serious. You know, I read a paper about modal composition as opposed to the standard chord composition found in most 4/4 Western music, and I've decided to compose some very serious music indeed, 17 minutes in length, which only people with extremely mathematical musical minds can actually appreciate, or people who like to pretend to enjoy jazz despite the fact that they can't actually hear what makes my composition special. No, this is Neil Hefti. He's having fun. And Neil Hefti was asked to compose the music for Batman. And to give you some idea of how much fun he is, there's also this album, this Batman theme album music, which is again an original. These both came out in 1966. The first album I showed you and this Batman theme album, both original music by Neil Hefti, both came out in 66. These are different selections of music. There's a bit of overlap, but this record does not have the dialogue that the first record has, but it has full unadulterated compositions. And you get the real Batman themed story as told by the composer, which is kind of funny. I may as well read this. It's got a little bit of the J.D. Loudermilk to it in being, of course, wholly fictional. When one is a composer for hire, he runs into many strange and unheard of situations. For example, my phone rang one day recently. The voice at the other end was throaty and tense, but unmistakably it was my friend William Dozier of Greenway Productions. He summoned me to a secret meeting at 20th Century Fox Studios. Intrigued by his anxious tones and the sense of urgency about it all, I hung up the phone and raced to the movie lot without hesitation. Well, it goes on for another 4 paragraphs. Perhaps you should buy the album to be able to read the rest of this. Fun music, just wonderful sounding album. This is on RCA Victor Dynagroove recording. And this, I believe, also comes in mono and stereo, and just some great stuff. Sewer Lady, My Fine Feathered Finks, Just a Simple Millionaire, Evil Plot to Blow Up Batman. The Batuzzi is on here. It starts side 2. What more could you ask for? Not a whole lot more. The wings going? Did I get the wings going? I hope I did. Can't hope for much more. And with the originals, you get then the knockoffs too. You get the knockoffs of people who have at least given Hefty credit for the music, which they darn well better have, or else they were going to get sued. But these are not, a couple of these records I'm going to show you are not original Batman themes. They're copies thereof. This is out to, you're trying to steal money from 13 and 14-year-olds here who go to the Woolworths with their $1.98 and get suckered into buying the Batman theme composed by Neil Hefti by Maxwell Davis. Who was Maxwell Davis? Maxwell Davis was a saxophonist and an arranger and a jazz guy who got the contract to do the Batman theme for Crown Records and did a pretty good job. It is if I recall correctly, I just listened to these recently to do the video, and there is a chorus singing the word Batman along with the song. Some of the instrumentals you don't get that. Some of it, it's the next one I'm going to show you. It's just horn hits for the but yeah, Maxwell Davis, good job. There is guitar on here. There's electric guitar. It's not as fuzzy, but it's fun. 60s spy surf. Not intense surf like Dick Dale, but light surf, fun jazz rock music. A good album, a fun album. If you see this, especially in the thrift store, in the bargain bin, it looks in good shape, I would go for it. It's a fun album. These are all extremely fun listens.
Holy
for people who
hardfish!
enjoy your rock, your surf, sometimes even your fuzz. Now this one, the Revengers, and you see that they've got the eek and the biff and the pow and the hip and the zolch and the sob and the choke and the gasp. You got Batman, Robin Part 1, Robin Part 2, and then you've got some Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Theme from Secret Agent and some other, they're mixing in the other Secret Agents shows and the Green Hornet and all that, those shows that were popular in the mid-60s, that all had wonderful soundtracks and all had wonderful theme songs. And you get a bit of that here on this MGM release. Again, it's kind of walking the line between soundtrack, crime jazz, spy jazz, and surf rock. There's organ on these, there's saxophone. This one is a little organ heavier than saxophone heavier. Not surprisingly, the album with Maxwell, that is he plays the saxophone and you get more saxophone on the album. Who saw that coming? But there's plenty of organ on that too.
Holy mackerel!
I don't see any indication on there that those were Hammond B3s, but it's a Hammond B3 like sound. So if you enjoy your Jimmy Smith, that sort of thing, if you enjoyed I'm not going to say it's on the same level as Jimmy Smith's Goldfinger Part 1 and Part 2, which are just outstanding interpretations of a very cool spy theme. But going a bit in that direction, it's still fun, quality music. And again, this album is another one that's a cash-in that I would pick up cheaply if you see it. If you see it in the bargain bin, see it at the thrift store, 100%, I would go for it. My copy of this Ventures album, I'm going to do a whole video on the Ventures upcoming. I probably own more Ventures albums than albums by any other band. I'm not sure how many it is. It's at least 15 albums. They're all quality. And this is one of my favorite ones. Now, my copy is a little more beat up on the outside. The record is nice and clean. It's on Dalton Records, like virtually all of their stuff or all of their stuff. And you get the Batman theme, the Green Hornet theme. You may remember that there were even crossover episodes of Batman and Green Hornet with Bruce Lee. And Secret Agent Man from U.N.C.L.E., the Get Smart theme. And then you've also got a few originals on here, like Zocco, The Cape, Joker's Wild. There are some, unusually for a Ventures record, there are some voices on here. You do get a chorus, you get a female chorus singing the word Batman with the theme song, and you get some sound effects, and you get some you get some quotes and some shouting, and you actually hear some voices on a Ventures record, which doesn't happen all the time. I would put this is one of my favorite Ventures records. There are a few that I think are a little cut above, and this is one of them. Like a lot of this stuff, just I think pretty much the whole Ventures catalog is underappreciated and underpriced. But again, definitely, especially if you see this at bargain, I would pick up the Ventures record. Oh, by the way, the title of this it just shows up as The Ventures. There's already the original Ventures record is The Ventures, so just keep an eye out for that. That you are. I thought the title of this record was Batman themed, but when I looked in the Discogs catalog, it is just listed as a second album titled The Ventures.
Watch out, Batman. This could be tricky.
I have a kids record here. This came out in the early 70s, and it's 4 exciting all-new action adventure stories. Like most kids records, this is pretty beat up. I would say that my copy is probably like it's got the nice label on there. Probably plays VG, which is about the best you can hope from most kids records like this, because the children and vinyl and needles don't exactly go together. Yeah, there are 4 stories on here that have very little in the way of Batman and Robin's voices. It is not Adam West and Burt Ward. So that's they did the kids a little dirty on this. It's an early 70s rip-off album. National Periodical Publications Incorporated 1975 is the copyright. There is another janky second-rate version of the Batman theme on here, which is still not horrible because it's just such a fun song. So that's a 5th track which is not listed on here. It's like it's almost like it does appear as a separate track on side 1 as the intro to side 1. Gets the kids all excited for Batman, which would have been in reruns on UHF TV at the time, and then they get to not listen to Adam West and Burt Ward. So
Holy heart failure!
in mind, I'll mention this is a super beat up copy. I have so many various and sundry mixed copies of this Television's Greatest Hits. This is a volume 2, which happens to have, I think, the Green Hornet theme on it. Is that correct? It's got the Odd Couple theme on here. And the Green Hornet, actually, but this is volume 2. It doesn't have Batman. Volume 1 does. I think I have that somewhere downstairs. There were a lot of these Television's Greatest Hits that came out. So if you're looking for the Batman theme, you are looking for volume 1 and not 2. I may just have that on CD now. And I had sold a copy once of Television's Greatest Hits Volume 1, and the person before they bought it, and there's a tip for you. If you're buying records from somebody online, especially on Discogs, most sellers are happy to answer questions for you. We'd much rather answer a question of yours before you buy the record than have to do the hassle of the return and everything. Much rather that you ask the question ahead of time. He wanted to know if the Star Trek theme had the Taboli Go dialogue before going into the theme song itself, and he wanted to know if the Batman theme had the intro Batmobile dialogue between Batman and Robin before going to the theme. The answer to both of those questions is yes. So that makes Television's Greatest Hits Volume 1, I think, an even better deal, better package, because that's really what you want to hear. You almost can't hear those themes in your head without hearing the verbal introduction to them. Keep an eye out for that. There are many recompilations. You will see a whole bunch. You'll see this as 50s and 60s double album. You'll see this as 60s. You'll see it as Greatest Hits Volume 1, Greatest Hits Volume 2. There's a larger collection. This may come in like a box set. And then there's CDs that are like expanded with just a ton of the tracks on them because they're so short. But just, look up Television's Greatest Hits. It's a lot of fun. Keep an eye out for those. They just kept re-releasing them through the 80s and 90s. And I'll mention as well, finally, one of my favorite bands, The Who. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of especially 60s Who. Who Sell Out is one of my all-time favorite albums, probably easily top 10. The Who released an incredible Ready Steady EP in the UK and in Europe that was not released as such in the US. And that has 4 or 5 songs on it, depending on which country it was released in. There was a similar release, I believe, for the Australian and New Zealand market. And those are going for, depending on where you are, like 18, 20 euros, 20 pounds in the UK, and on up if you're looking for VG Plus or better condition. They could get quite expensive and aren't as easy to find. I think that your best bet is there were a couple of Who bootleg albums that came out that have their cover of the Batman theme on it. which is just, it's supercharged. It's, you know, it sounds, if you can imagine mid-60s Who doing the Batman theme, picture that in your head. That's exactly what it sounds like. And that's one of the songs that's on Rarities Volume 1. And I believe that Rarities Volume 1 was released in or for the UK market, it looks like. Yes, Polydor UK. But I found these, I bought both Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the Who Rarities, which are split by years. I think it's 66 to 68, then I think 68 to 73 is the Volume 2, and the Batman theme's on the first one. And these are excellent. I think that they're actually somewhat underpriced. You will get songs here that are fairly difficult to find otherwise. A lot of them are split between the extended play releases of the great 90s into 2000s CDs that came out with all the bonus tracks of albums like The Who Sell Out. Maybe a quick one, but there's even an issue with the title of the album in the UK versus the US. It's Happy Jack in the US and a quick one while he's away in the UK. Same album, but then you get bonus tracks on the extended version of the CD. Batman may be on there. It's not on my copy of Who Sell Out. I just looked at that. It's not there. So Rarities Volume 1 may be the best bet for the American, European, UK buyer to find the Batman track by the Batman theme cover by The Who. So just keep an eye out for that as well. Tried something a little different here, kind of went thematic looking at some of my record collection. It's entirely possible I have some other Batman records too that I just didn't remember or think of. I hope you enjoyed that. I was looking to do a little quicker format, different format, thematic thing, connected somewhat to Halloween here. Get the wings going. This is Chris with Pumpkin Paisley. I would very much appreciate if you enjoyed this. If you give the video a like, consider subscribing. It is free after all. It does help me out. And I'll remind you kids that you can come back here at the same Bat channel, not necessarily the same time every week. And I will encourage you to keep on rocking in the unfree world.
Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.